Janet Scher here, and today we're going to be talking about what to do when nothing seems to be working. Now, I have had this happen to me so many times in my life where I've set intentions and I've gone out into the world and I've followed my heart in the direction of my dreams and I've given it my all, and I end up with zero results. And not only that, I end up with my life in crisis. I'm in a financial ruin. I'm just stuck in every imaginable way. So there's many things that we can do when we're in a situation and we just don't understand why nothing is working out. And there's a series of questions that I have that you can ask yourself. And if you'd like to, you can get a pen and paper and write down these questions, and we'll go over some of this. Okay, so the first question I think that we need to ask ourselves is, with what I have dreamt of and this intention, is it really, really what I want? Because so many times we get into situations where I think we settle for something, or we are afraid to dream, and we say, well, I can do this thing or I can do that. That feels believable, but we're not really connecting to what's in our heart. We're not really listening to our soul. And I'll share an example of that with myself. Last year, I was in an interim between jobs. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did know that I didn't want to go to work for somebody else again because I just was not enjoying that. And so I was in this state of depression, and I had a couple of months where I just had no clue what to do. And finally, I had to get myself up and out of bed and out of the depression. So I thought I was searching my heart, and the only thing I could come up with was, I'll go ahead and renew my real estate license. I'll get back into real estate. Now, I really do love homes, and I do get very excited about real estate because I love owning homes. And I'm also very good at doing real estate, not necessarily the marketing part, but very good when I'm under doing a deal. And so I did. I set off on that path, and in my mind, and that's the key, it was in my mind, not my heart, I could see how this could provide me with a great living and that I wouldn't have to work full time and blah, 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 blah. So it really was more in the mind, but I needed to get up and start doing something. So I did. I pursued it. I renewed my license, and I went out there and I spent a whole year trying to figure out how to get clients, and I wasn't getting any business, and nothing was working out. I mean, nothing. I was dead broke, trying to figure out how to feed myself and keep a roof over my head. And I just went through this, entire thing. And then finally I had a little shift, and it worked for about 3 months. I got some clients, I got some deals done, and then it went flat again, totally flat. And I ended up right back in the same situation where I was just flat broke. So we need to really be careful when we ask for our intentions. And I just think so many times when we choose something in our lives, we're really thinking from a limited perspective. We don't see how what we want can happen, or we don't see how we could live on our own necessarily. And so we settle, for people in our lives, or we settle to live in areas we don't want to live in. We settle for work, a form of work that we think will bring us, something, but it's not really from the heart. Okay, question number 2. Am I blocking myself because I fear the success of it? Now, we hear that a lot, but this goes just one step deeper in my opinion. Okay, for instance, with me, I wanted to do real estate, but I didn't want it to get big. I did not want to be so successful that I had to work 12-hour days. I had no personal life. I had no time for my spirituality. That would have been kind of a negative side effect of getting what I wanted. And so that's something to examine too. You might be creating blocks because you haven't addressed, what if I am successful? What are the negative sides of that I'm afraid of will happen? For a lot of us it is, I'll get too busy, I won't know what to do if I can't handle it and serve my customers, or if it's moving to a new place, I won't have any friends, or I'll have too many friends, whatever. It can just be, anything. But you want to look at what you think is the negative side. What would be the downside if I got what I wanted? And check inside your heart, because you could be setting up a potential block. Third question to ask yourself: what has the contents of my consciousness been the last 30 days? Now, this is a really powerful question, because let's go back to my real estate situation. When I was doing the real estate, I really thought that I was being powerful and in a state of abundance and success. I really thought that that was what was in my consciousness. But when I sat down and I really got honest with myself and I started looking at that, I realized that that wasn't the case at all. That I was living in a vibration of fear, anxiety, I was stressed, I felt really nervous because I hadn't had any deals going, and when I got a deal, what would I do? So I was really living in a vibration of lack and scarcity and fear. And once I did take the reins and say, wait a minute, I'm believing, that I can't really do this, or I'm believing that there's not enough in the world, and I started to identify all those beliefs that I had, and I could see it within the last 30 days. That's why I suggest 30 days. You don't have to go back 6 months. Just look at what you're basically thinking about for 30 days. You'll see, am I focused on it? Maybe you're not even focused on your intention. Maybe you're so scattered in life that you're not even focused on it. So, we get what we think about, what we pay attention to grows. That can be, a negative thing at times, and for me it was. So once I got those beliefs identified, that, I'm just replaying these automatic tapes and I'm living in a lack vibration. Once I got that cleared out, I started to do my affirmations and visualizations and some other techniques. And that is when real estate started to take off for me finally. So I think that that's a really important question to kind of take a moment, reflect over the last 30 days, and think about your dominant thoughts. What do you think about almost every day, throughout the day? Maybe you're telling yourself negative stuff. I'm so stupid, or I'm not smart enough, or nothing works out for me, whatever, and start working on that. Identify the beliefs and then start affirming and changing them. And a key to that, of course, is living an end result consciousness. The next question to ask yourself is, could this situation be leading me in a new direction? Now, this is something that I had to look at once I got down into a crisis point, again, with real estate, sticking on the same subject. And when it came to me to do this online business and to offer this community and everything, I was at the bottom of the barrel. And I think a lot of the times, Spirit speaks to us through the events of our lives. And so if things aren't going and everything you're doing seems to be a struggle and nothing seems to be working out, a lot of the times it's because Spirit wants to get our attention. We're heading down the wrong path. We're in the wrong situation. We're around the wrong people. We're not living in the right environment, whatever it is. Because when we are truly living from our souls, life works and it flows. So this is actually, to me, Spirit's way of loving us when we get into really difficult situations. And it's funny because we usually feel betrayed. Well, I've done my stuff and God hasn't helped me, and I don't feel I can trust anymore. But I've learned that if I just relax and go back within and listen, that my life is informing me and it's telling me you're not on the right path in some situation. So I think it's a really, really important question to ask yourself, and meditate on that for a while. What could this be leading me to? And start going within and dreaming. Don't put limits on a particular form of a job or a type of person or whatever. Just dream what feels super joyful in my heart. And go with that for a little while and see, is Spirit leading me in a new direction? Because like I said, I think sometimes Spirit loves us by not making things work. It's a way to give us a wake-up call and help us shuffle us off in a direction that we really do belong in. And the last question we can ask ourselves is, what if everything was working out perfectly? Now, what this requires, number one, is I have been in those crisis situations. I mean, how could it be perfect that I'm flat broke and I don't know how I'm going to eat or keep a roof over my head and where I'm going to go, and on and on and on. But really what that is just the noise in the head. It's the ego that's scared, and it's the busyness of, oh my God, this is going to happen, and what's going to happen to me, and just getting into that negative chatter, when in truth, if you just can calm down and relax and ask yourself and inquire, is that thought really true? I don't know that these things are going to happen. I don't know, but we do tend to awfulize. When things aren't working out and we've gotten into a crisis situation, it is normal. I mean, we're human to imagine even worse and what's going to happen to me and what now, that kind of stuff. So if we can take a moment to say, what if everything is happening perfectly, then we begin to align to the flow of life and we relax. So number one, it does require returning to the now, in this now moment. Everything is fine. None of this stuff has happened. Slowing down the chatter and the fear and the noise in the head, and just relaxing into the moment and imagining that Spirit is working all of it out. Because so many times when we're in a crisis situation, or there's so many different factors involved, we're not designed, our minds and our egos are not designed to figure that out. That's Spirit's job. It knows the whole picture, and it can put together things in miraculous ways that we could never think of. And our job is to tune into what is the next step. I am here now, all is well. Get ourselves centered. Don't listen to the noise in the head. And then go within your heart. What is the next step? And just take a step. You don't have to try and address and figure out every single angle of something before it's going to be okay. In fact, usually you're getting in your own way by doing that. We need to step away from that and get out of our own way. So these are the questions to ask, and I would say, take some time to reflect on these answers and to do these practices, and I can assure you that you will see a higher way, whether it's you're on the wrong path, whether it's you need to clear stuff from your consciousness, but you can start turning around the situation. And I know by asking these questions and going within to your own inner guidance that you will find the answers and you will make a shift in your life. It will start changing, but you do need to sit down and address it, and not from the area of the noisy head and the fear and all of that. You need to get into the silence as often as you can and listen, and then ask, and it will come to you and your life will shift. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.